Finally cast off from La Paz, push on up towards Ensenada Grande, and then on up to San Evaristo, working our way north towards San Carlos for the end of the season.
I think that was the most enjoyable cup of tea I've ever had.
It is a good cup of tea.
So sometimes we wake up early in the morning and the water's just crystal clear. So what do? We grab our coffee and tea and jump in a small boat and go for a putt around and see what we can see. Today we see all kinds of fish.
Slow him down, boss. The freaking power boat messed everything up. Not a bad way to enjoy your morning.
No.
Oh, look at them in here. I got him.
At one point we were pulling into our favorite anchorage and Lori saw this dark mass in the water. She wasn't sure what it was, and then she got a better look and determined it was a whale shark. So we motored around with the big boat, took some pictures, and then jumped in the small boat with the GoPro and got some underwater footage of it. These are very docile sharks and you can just be right up on them. Very popular down here for snorkelers.
I think it's a whale shark.
Yeah, a little one, huh?
This morning we decided to leave Isla Partida, which is part of the Espiritu Island chains, and we're heading up to San Evaristo, which is about 20 miles north of us. Once again, we've decided to set a new course. Instead of hanging out at the anchorages for 2 or 3 days at a time, we're going to get up and take advantage of the morning breezes that are pretty common around here and usually die off mid-afternoon. And we will be making 20 miles a day, which isn't bad. It gives us time to sail along at a nice, comfortable speed. We don't have to break any records. We're cruising right now at about 3 knots, and Lori's doing her thing down inside the cabin. So it's much easier than just sitting around the anchorage, covering the boat up, hiding from the sun. At least we're out here sailing and have a little bit of breeze, and it's a lot more comfortable out here. So when you're not sailing, your motor. And Lori's sitting there underneath her little umbrella, keeping a sharp eye out for... What are you keeping an eye out for? Icebergs? What are you keeping an eye out for?
Waters.
Show birds.
Yeah, birds.
Okay, so we're watching for birds. Hey Lori, how we doing today? This is the much written about Isla San Francisco. It is got a lot of very good things to say about in the cruising magazines because of its unique white sandy beaches. But the other catch is it is one of the most famous places for no-see-ums, which come out around sunset, and it's just something that has not been a big draw to us. A lot of people hike up on top of the ridge there, and I'm suspecting they usually do that when it's much cooler, but when it's 95 degrees outside, you're not going to get my butt hiking up there. And I'm just not willing to go in there and take the chance of being eaten by no-see-ums. John Steinbeck wrote about it when he came up here into the Sea of Cortez.
Little biting flies are about the size of a pencil tip, but leave a crazy itching bite that lasts for days or weeks. Raise your arm. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's itchy. Let's just say like that. It literally feels like my clothes are made out of fiberglass. That's the best description. On top of the feet where the sandals were, I could not wear sandals today. It was like hell. Hate it.
Hey, David. Turn and wave. There you go. There's our boat. Morning, we're on our way up to where are we going next? It's a really beautiful morning. Last night we secured the cabin and the small boat. We did our engine checks so that we could get up early this morning and get underway before the winds came up. And so it's really flat, we're motoring, and we're finally in areas we've never been before. Last night we were in San Evaristo, and that's as far as we've gotten up into the Sea of Cortez. So from here on out, it's all new to us. You can see how beautiful it is. So here we go. We won't be able to sail today. The reason we took off early this morning is because the winds are supposed to kick up and they're going to be in our face. Not really hard, but we won't be able to sail. We're going to get to a spot tonight. And I think tomorrow, the next day, the winds should start turning around so that we can start sailing up into the sea instead of motoring. So we'll get back to you later.
The main reason we decided to get up early and get out of there was the winds were still forecasting to come out of the north, and the channel between Isla San Jose and the San Evaristo portion of the Baja Peninsula, the wind will come through there and venturi down, create a pretty good wind chop. Not a lot of distance to sail back and forth because we'd have to do a lot of tacking and get very little headway. So we got up early this morning and took advantage of the calm waters.
We are approaching Agua Verde.
And where are we going?
Puerto Escondido.
Which is
What?
We're going to cast off from Puerto Escondido, and we've got 130 miles just about due north up to San Carlos. For the past week, the winds have been forecasted to turn around to start coming out of the southeast, pushing us up the hill at a good 5 or 6 knots. We only need to average about 5 knots, 5.5 knots to do this in a 24-hour trip. So it should be a good ride.
There you go. Try it again.
Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to San Carlos, Mexico. We've just made our overnight passage from Loretto area. Had a very, very good sail. Made 127 miles in 24 hours. So that was a pretty good speed. And we're going to go in here and see what's going on. So stay tuned. Well, this boat's holding it pretty steady. Of course, that I know, honey.
Took its tail out.
So today we're going down to get our bus tickets to get back to the States, up to Phoenix. San Carlos to Phoenix is about 8 to 10 hour bus ride.
Tucson.
Sorry, Tucson. And it's like 30 bucks to get up there. We're gonna head up there and catch a ride over there with our friends from Passport. You're supposed to be in the
I'm
frame
getting in the
here.
shade. Oh.
Okay, she obviously missed out. Camera photography 101. Anyhow, that's what we're gonna do today. You got any words of wisdom, Miss Lori?
Be cool.
Be cool. Yeah, it's hot down here. It's like not like hot.
Don't
It's
be
only
cranky.
like it's not like hot. It's like only in the 80s and low 90s, but the humidity is like what, 65-70%, and that makes it real sticky and gross. So anyhow,
Very.
we're going to take a ride up into town and see what the city of San Carlos and Guaymas is like.
And this brings us to the end of season 2. We have had a really good time this year. We actually had our first family guest on board. We met friends that we hadn't seen since we left the San Francisco Bay Area. And we met friends that Lori hadn't seen since I don't know how long. It's amazing how you run into folks that you have known for quite a while in places that are new to you. So we got the boat hauled out of the water now. We are up in the States for the season. We're going to try and continue to put out some land sailing videos, and that's basically going to be things that we shoot and see while we're running around between the Phoenix area and the Pacific Northwest. So we hope you've enjoyed this season. Have a great summer, and we hope to see you back here again next year. Until then, be safe, be well, and smile as much as possible.
Keep the sun behind me. If I have to keep turning, it's going to be a pain. There's a rock. There's a rock. There's a rock. Hey, honey.
Hey sports fans, good morning and welcome to San Carlos, Guaymas, New Mex.
I can't see you. The sun's behind you, so it's
All
just
right.
a silhouette.
San Carlos to Phoenix is about 8 to 10 hour bus ride.
It's Tucson. It's Tucson. It's Tucson.
Sorry, Tucson.